All right, Bear, here we go. Bad mood itch. Psst, psst. When Judy got to school the next morning, her friends, minus Amy plus Jessica Finch, were whispering outside Class 3T. As soon as they saw Judy, they stopped. Since when were Rocky and Frank so palsy-walsy with Fink-Face Finch? Oops, that wasn't good mood thinking. WWJFD. What would Jessica Finch do? Judy tried to sound cheery. Hey guys, happy Thursday. Frank waved. Jessica smiled. Rocky gave her a strange look. We better get inside, he said. Mr. Todd already blinked the lights once. It was so not working to try to be like Jessica Finch. Her friends just thought she was battier than Batgirl. Mr. Todd had tons of alarm clocks on his desk. 3, 2, 1, buzz. The clocks went off. Half the class jumped. The other half held their fingers in their ears. It's time, Mr. Todd smiled brightly. Time to measure up. Today we begin our new math unit. We're going to go the distance. We're going to have gallons of fun. All day long we'll be measuring time and space, our classroom, and one another. Take out your math journals. Judy did not even have to search her desk or her backpack. She pulled out her math journal from the top of a nice, neat stack inside her desk. What are some tools we might use to measure things with? Mr. Todd asked. Hannah raised her hand. Ruler. Dylan raised his hand. Yardstick. Jessica Finch raised her hand. Measuring cup. Judy wanted to participate just like Jessica Finch. String, Judy called out. Judy, did you forget to raise your hand? Asked Mr. Todd. Oof. Judy stretched her hand in the air. Yes, asked Mr. Todd. I was going to say Elizabeth Blackwell, woman of science, ruler, said Judy, holding up her favorite ruler. But somebody said ruler, so I was thinking you could measure something with a piece of string. Very good, said Mr. Todd. In ancient times, the length of your foot or the width of your thumb could be used to measure things. Judy stuck her hand in the air again. Mr. Todd, she started with her hand still raised. Did you know that the longest guitar is 38 feet and 2 inches? It says so right here on my yardstick of bubblegum box. Thank you, Judy. That's interesting. He rolled the chalk in his hands. But let's try not to interrupt. I raised my hand, said Judy. That's a good start, but please wait to be called on. Mr. Todd held up a jar of something that looked like rice. He wrote on the board, 1 inch equals 3 grains of barley. Judy raised her hand again. Mr. Todd peered over his glasses. Yes, Judy? The longest grain of rice is 8.5 millimeters. I'm pretty sure. She's like the interrupting chicken from the book, said Brody. Judy's face got hot. Her ears turned as red as a turtle. A red-eared slider, that is. Let's all work on not interrupting Brody, said Mr. Todd. He turned back to the board. In old England, the king made a rule that if you took 3 grains of barley and put them end to end, that made an inch. Judy could not help thinking about the world's longest roller coaster and the world's longest mustache. She could not help thinking about the world's longest sandcastle and the world's longest banana split. She could not help wondering if the yardstick of bubblegum was the world's longest piece of bubblegum. Judy shivered. She felt a chill. Probably a cold wind blowing in from the back of the room. Antarctica. Snot sickles. Judy sat on her hands. She did not want to be an interrupting chicken, and she did not want to take a trip, or a skidoo to the land of snow and ice, where only her friends would be nematodes. At last, Class 3T got up and out of their seats. They scribbled estimates in their journals. They measured the room in human feet. They measured Mr. Todd's desk in thumbs. They measured their pencils in grains of barley. My pencil is 22.5 barley, said Frank, counting the eraser. Class 3T figured out that Frank's pencil was almost 7.5 inches. They measured the length of Peanut the guinea pig, the distance from the pencil sharpener to the window, and the time it took to walk, not run, from Class 3T to the principal's office and back. They learned some way cool measurements. George Washington's nose on Mount Rushmore, 20 feet long. Statue of Liberty Torch, 12 feet 7 inches long. Chesapeake Bay Bridge, 92,928 feet long. Whoa. They found out that the United States was 3,000 miles long, and the distance from the Earth to the Sun was nearly 93 million miles. Great job today, class, said Mr. Todd. Tomorrow we will measure things in hands, cubits, and licks. Judy raised her hand. She waited for Mr. Todd to call on her. Licks? Does that mean we get to eat ice cream? She asked. Mr. Todd chuckled. I'm afraid not. A lick is the distance from the tip of your thumb to the tip of your index finger, when they're spread out like an L. Judy's pencil was 2 1/4 licks. Her woman of science ruler was 4 licks. Her yardstick, a bubble gum box, was 12 licks. Over the weekend, think of something you'd like to measure and come up with a unique way to measure it. On Monday, we're going to make our own rulers. Rocky was going to measure his iguana, Houdini, using a deck of cards. Frank was going to measure his breakfast waffles in forks, and Jessica Finch was going to measure the Ultimate Speller's Dictionary in magic straws. How about you, Judy? You're awful quiet, said Frank. Judy itched. A bad mood, a twitch. Remembering to raise her hand and not speak out in class and be like Jessica Finch all the time was making her jumpy. Trying to be in a good mood all the time was making her grumpy. But she could not be a grumpalumpicus if she wanted to stay away from Antarctica. So she made a joke. I'm going to measure my spaceship. You know, the one I flew in with the pod people from here from outer space? Everybody half laughed. Kidding, said Judy. Probably measure stink using sugar packets. By the time Judy got home, she was in a tizzy. Her hair was in a frizzy and her brain was dizzy with bad mood thoughts. Grrr. Judy Moody, was in an almost mood. She checked her mood ring. It was an awful dark under there, where the purple nail polish was chipping off. Judy had a heart-to-heart with Mouse. This being in a good mood all the time sure is hard, Mouse. And my friends think I'm some kind of weirdo. I should just give up right now. Nobody would even know. Mouse hid her eyes behind her paw. You're right, Mouse. I'd know. Mouse sniffled. Mouse sneezed. I know, Mouse. If I quit now, I might as well move to Antarctica and live on an iceberg. Judy picked up a ball of dark blue yarn. Knit, knit, knit. Loop-de-loop-de-loop. At least she had yarn to knit with again, thanks to her so-called not-alien friends. Her chain of finger knitting was getting longer and longer. It went down the stairs and around the banister and over the coat tree and into the living room, where it wound its way around the legs of the couch. The dark blue ball of yarn was used up in no time. Judy climbed up on her top bunk with a ball of purpley yarn. She cast off her thumb. Soon, a lacy purple chain piled up in her lap. Purple. The color of kings and queens and creative ones. The color of a mood ring painted joyful. Purple always put Judy in a better mood. Suddenly, she had an idea. A royal idea. A plum of an idea. A lilac lavender not eggplant idea. Peanut butter and jelly. She, Judy Moody, would paint her same old chickenpox polka dot wall purple. That way, at least her room would be in a good mood all the time. All she had to do now was ask the you-know-whos. Judy found Mom downstairs playing Words with Frenemies on the computer. Dad was helping Stink with homework. Mom, Dad, Judy begged. She got down on her knees. Please say yes. Pretty please, with peanut butter fingers on top. Don't say yes, said Stink. I bet she's going to ask you to take her to Fur and Fangs to get an Australian sugar glider or something. Or something, said Judy. What even is a sugar glider? It's like a flying squirrel with big bulgy eyes from Australia. You can have one as a pet as long as you don't live in a 4-syllable state. What? Huh? You know, California, New Mexico, Massachusetts, and parts of Minnesota. Weird, said Judy. Well, we're not getting a flying sugar glider, said Mom, or any other Australian marsupial. So, if that is a question, the answer is no. I'm not even asking for a sugar glider, said Judy. We're not going to say yes or no until we hear the question, said Dad. I was going to ask if we could paint my room. Maybe the wall behind my bunk bed. I was thinking purple. Why not? Said Mom. Sure, said Dad. I have a bunch of color samples in the garage. You pick out a color and we'll do it this weekend. Really? So that's a yes? Judy asked. Just like that? Just like that, said Dad. You should have gone for a flying sugar glider, said Stink. Oh. All right, next chapter is Sour Balls. Oh gosh, what's this one going to be about? Let's find out. On GMD number 4, aka Friday, the finger knitting chain followed Judy out the door and down the sidewalk and all the way to the bus stop. Look, said Stink, you grew a tail. Judy turned to look. Sure enough, a tail of yarn snaked down the sidewalk and behind her. Uh-oh. The end of my chain must have gotten caught on my backpack, said Judy. I gotta go back. Hurry up or you'll miss the bus, said Stink. Judy ran back to the house, gathering up the yarn chain as she went. She tossed the whole thing inside the front door just as Mom and Dad were leaving. The chain looped over Dad's shoe and around his ankle, and Dad shook his foot free. Judy, Mom and I want to talk to you about this knitting. Late, Miss Bus, later, bye, Judy called back. By the time Judy got back to the bus stop, her hair had escaped the bobby pins. She made 2 quick ponytails and asked, Where's Rocky? You know, he always gets a ride when it rains, said Stink. But it's not raining. It's gonna. I like when it rains. Rain means frogs. Can this day get any worse, she asked. What do you mean? Mom and Dad were having a knit fit, that's all. You're going to have to stop all that knitting stuff, aren't you, Stink said. Never. Uh-huh. I heard Mom and Dad talking. Don't pick a scab before it's time, Stink. Huh? Never mind. Just tell me what they said. They said you're going to have to stop all that knitting stuff. They said it's taking over the whole house. No lie? No lie. I can't stop now. I still have 3 more days to... if I stop now, I only have enough finger knitting to yarn bomb a birdhouse. Aw, poor bird. Judy could feel a snit fit coming on. A no-knit snit fit. She felt like stomping, but she could not stomp. She could not roar. She could not growl or even meow. It was only Friday. She had to keep her good mood streak for 3 more days. That meant getting through 1 whole day of school without a string cheese incident or an interrupting chicken episode. Without even thinking that Jessica Finch was a fink face. Otherwise, she'd be shivering in bunny boots and seeing sun dogs from her own personal iceberg in the back of the room, Frostbite City. But she made it this far, and Judy was determined, now more than ever, not to go anywhere near Antarctica. Not even close. Not even New Zealand. She wiped the sour ball look off her face. She put on a big fake smile. She tried to sound smart and know-it-all like Jessica Finch. When life gives you lemons, Stink, make lemonade. That's what grown-ups were always saying. What? It's a saying. When life gives you sour balls, you make sweet tarts. Huh? When bad stuff happens, try to think of something good instead. Always look for the sweetness in the sour ball of life. You sound like a birthday card, said Stink. Mom and Dad might make me stop finger knitting, right? That puts me in a bad mood. But they said I could paint my room this weekend, and that's a good thing. Just then, dark cloud passed overhead, and Judy heard a rumble of thunder. All of a sudden, the sky opened up, and it started to pour. Judy and Stink held their backpacks over their heads. They dashed for cover. It's raining cats and dogs, Judy wailed. It's raining toads and frogs, said Stink, grinning. Sour balls, said Judy. Do you mean sweet tarts, Stink said. It rained all morning. At indoor recess in the gym, Judy took out the paint samples with funny names and passed them around. Rocky, said Judy. You're not even looking. Why don't you just paint your room Martian green, he suggested. Or alien orange, said Frank. Or Pluto pink, said Jessica. Judy did her best to ignore the alien comments. Come on, you guys, she said. Those aren't real colors. She fanned out the sample colors like a deck of cards. If it can't be Martian green, said Rocky, I have to pick sunny side up, or hay is for horses. Of course you'd pick Yellow Rock. I'd pick She Sells Seashells, said Amy. Blue is nice, said Judy. Statue of Liberty or grass stain, said Frank. No go. I'm not going to paint my room grass stain. Eraser, tutu, or tippy toes, said Jessica Finch. Those are all pink, said Judy. How about purple? There's Laugh Out Loud, Plum Crazy, Peanut Butter and Jelly, or Saltwater Taffy. Stink ran from the second grade side of the gym. What color do you like, Stink? Judy asked him. Frog prints, said Stink, and Bullfrog and Ribbit and Pet Rock. You picked those because you like frogs. I know. Do they have Jawbreaker? Jawbreaker is not a color, Stink. Then I picked Snow Day. Snow Day is white, Judy grumped. My whole room is already Snow Day. Then how about lemonade, said Stink. Sorry, but it looks like toad pee, said Judy. She shuffled her paint samples some more. At last she put her favorite color on top. Peanut butter and jelly it is. Friday night was pizza and a movie night, and it was still raining outside. Judy leaned on her good mood pillow and finger knitted between bites of cheesy pizza. She finger knitted her way through 5 tomato red balls of yarn while watching The Cockroach That Ate Cleveland with her family. How'd you like the movie, Dad asked. They should call it The Yarn That Ate Cleveland, said Stink. I couldn't see half the movie with Judy's finger knitting all over the TV. Mom yawned, Stink yawned, and Judy yawned. She kept knitting. Time for bed, kids, said Mom. But I'm not tired, said Judy. One more skein of yarn, please. How about the knitting, said Dad. The yarn is taking over the house. I trip over it everywhere. I turn. It's driving Mouse crazy too, said Mom. She leaned over to untangle Mouse. Poor cat. She looks like she's wearing a pink tutu. Poor Mouse. Did you hear what happened to the cat that ate the ball of yarn, Stink asked? Judy's eyes grew wide. Yarn hairballs? No, she had mittens, said Stink, and he cracked himself up. Mom picked up a fuzzy pink section of the chain and peered at it. Judy, is this Grandma's loose, hand-knitted dancing mouse sweater I see in there? Judy stretched out and let out a fake yawn, not yarn. It's late. I guess I better go to bed. Night, everyone. But I thought you weren't tired, said Stink. Mind your own knitting, Stink, said Judy. She gathered up her finger knitting and headed upstairs to bed. You can always count dancing mice if you can't get to sleep, Stink called after her. In bed, Judy leaned on her frowny face pillow and counted raindrops until she fell asleep. Next chapter is Saltwater Taffy. We'll do that one next time.